Hey everyone, Mike back with Habitual Finance, and this week, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I'm going to post this video about your 401k and why you should invest in it if you already aren't. So I figure, since it's still January, why not continue on the train of financial resolutions? This is a great one to start, and very easy to start too. If you watch my other video about saving your raise, instead of being super diligent about saving your raise by yourself each paycheck, you can just automatically invest it into your 401k. So what I want to get into here, a little bit of background on 401ks. I'll just quickly recap. So when you start a full-time job, or maybe some other jobs have them too, part-times, your company allows you to start, usually after 60 days or so of employment, to start a 401k. Through whoever they use. My company uses Merrill Lynch. There's plenty of other companies out there that they use. They're all great. They've all got their ups and downs, but they're all great. And usually your company will reward you if you start investing. Like, I'm taking what my company does here. If you invest at least 4% of your paycheck into this 401k bi-weekly, they will match up to 4%. You can obviously invest more, and I totally agree that you should over time. There's a function on there too that will let you increase by 0.5% or 1% every year automatically, so you don't even have to think about it. You're just saving tons and tons of money. But so I want to kind of compare here why you should be investing in a 401k and why you should be investing in general, instead of just saying to yourself, I don't know anything about the stock market. I'd rather just put this in a bank account, a high yield savings account, or CD. And they only get like 2, maybe 3% returns. And you don't want to do that, not with this money. Those bank high yield savings and CDs have their time and their place, and they are useful. And I'll get into that in another video. But right now, you want to make sure that you've got this 401k set, because when you're 59 and a half, you can withdraw from this penalty free. If you would withdraw from your 401k before 59 and a half, you get, I believe it's a 10% penalty on top of getting taxed. So the idea behind this 401k is, you're like, well, why am I investing all this money if it's going to get taxed anyway? The idea is that when you're older, you are going to be making less, or taking less, than what you make, maybe not right now, but maybe when you're 30 or 40 and you're making 6 figures or so, for say, you went from 50 grand to 120 grand in your prime and you're really saving. And then when you retire again, maybe you'll bump yourself down to 80,000 because you don't need as much. And now you're in a lower tax bracket. So yeah, you're still getting taxed, but but being in that lower tax bracket is beneficial because you're not going to get taxed as much when you take out of this 401k. So this is a crucial step, if you ask me, on your journey to financial freedom. Like me, for example, I want to retire by the time I'm 50. So my 401k right now, how it's set up, by the time I'm 59 and a half, should have probably around like 2.5, 3 million in it, which is just insane to think about. It's great. So you're covered from 59 and a half till you're dead, because the rate that I pull this money out, it's going to be growing faster than I can pull it out, than I want to pull it out, at least. So it's going to last forever, and I can leave it on, I can leave it to my family when I pass, which is another great thing. So I only have to cover from 50 to 59 and a half with my other accounts, like a Roth IRA, CDs, high yield savings, whatever. So it makes it much easier to achieve financial freedom earlier by having a 401k while you're working now. So let's get into it. I'm assuming here that you're making $50,000 a year. And again, like I said, this is what my company does. If you invest at least 4%, they will match you up to 4% as well. So that's $2,000 of your own money, and then $2,000 of free money from your company. More money than you're getting paid. You get paid your $50,000, And then you're also technically getting paid $2,000 extra because they're matching your 401k. You don't see it in your hand right now, but you're going to thank yourself later that you did it when you see all that money you're saving. So that means you've got $4,000 per year to invest into this 401k. And it is very easy. You do not have to be a stock guru to invest. Just find some ETFs or even mutual funds if that's what you're into, and that are safe. And when you're younger, you can invest more in some riskier ones if you want, because they have potential to grow quicker. And then when you get older, you can go into a little bit more, slow growth but much safer ETFs. It's great. So you do not need to be a stock guru to invest. I promise you that. So this is something I didn't write it on here, but I also want to kind of compare and mention someone who doesn't trust the stock market. And a lot of people I talk to don't trust the stock market because they just are unaware of it. And that's wrong. You shouldn't. And they would rather put it in a bank. So you'd only be putting half of this much each year in the bank. You'll only be putting $2,000. And you would be gaining maybe 2% interest or 3% if you're in a high yield savings account or CD at the time of this video. That's about what they are, about what the rates are. And if you're putting it in a bank, you can just forget it because you're going to get 0.1%? How much money is that? Like pennies on the dollar. Don't even bother. So if that hasn't convinced you, let me also talk about compound interest, which I might even make a whole video on compound interest because me being a geeky engineer and math all this time is, I love compound interest. I hate doing problems on it, but I like when it's talking about my retirement. So I did you can just go online if you don't believe my numbers here. I assumed, and this is a very safe assumption, I assumed 6% returns on the stock market and the dividends you get every year, which is super safe. If you're watching at the time of this posting, 2019 we had like 25 to 30% gains, which is ridiculous. And then of course there's other times where there could be 25 to 30% losses. But that's the yin and the yang of the stock market. It goes up and it goes down, it has good and bad years. But over time, if you look at these graphs, it's always trending up, which is good. So here we start 10 years of investing. Say you're starting at 20. 10 years of investing. So that's $20,000, 2,000 times 10 years, $20,000 of your own money, $20,000 of your company, and $14,405 of interest from investing. So already you have totally blown away what you could have ever possibly made on a bank account or a high yield savings account. But let's continue on. 20 years. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. I'm sure everybody's heard of compound interest. But, 20 years, you would have thought, oh, why isn't it not like, 108,000 and change or so? Well, that's because that's the power of compound interest. It is crazy. It goes up exponentially. The longer you invest, the better. So start early. I started at like 23, and I wish I started earlier. I still wish I started earlier. And with more money in there. Because you don't need it now. You do not need it. Be frugal. Because the long term it will pay off. 30 years from now, you think, 3 times 54 should be about 160 something and change. No, 326,000. That's awesome. And then again, 50 years. I didn't do 40 because I couldn't fit it. 50 years, 1.2 million almost. That's insane. That is insane. Now think of 50 years of you saving just $2,000. What's that? 100 grand? And then maybe a little bit of interest, whatever that compound was over the years. What sounds better? This is what being disciplined in life gets you. You don't need to spend extra. If you saw my other video on how to easily save money, I talk about how you can easily save your raise because you lived last year just fine off that dollar amount you were making. Maybe you can bump it up a little bit. But whatever your raise was, whatever that bi-weekly raise was, just invest it or save it. You know? Look at what it can do. And this is so safe. This is such a safe assumption. You can do your research too. 6% is an average return on the stock markets. I think it's more like 8, but you know, we all have our opinions. And then on top of that, this whole time I'm assuming that you're making $50,000 every year until you're 70, which is not realistic at all. When you get a raise, you go to $60,000 a year or $100,000 a year. Your 4% is bumping way up. Now it's 4,000, and your company is also matching 4,000. That's 8,000. You know, it's crazy. So you don't even have to touch it. I would recommend to eventually work your way to the maximum, which I believe now is 19,000 per year. So work your way close to that. You don't have to hit it. You work your way close to that. You get to like, I think I'm putting away 14,000 of my paycheck right now. You know, with what I'm putting away and the match, it equals about 14. And it's, you know, it's insane what it's going to grow to. And I'll just keep it at that because as, you know, as years go on and you get your raises, it's just going to go up by itself. I don't have to worry about it anymore. The 401k is done. Those years, the 59.5 till my death is done. I'm set as long as I don't get fired. So that's about it. What I want to say on 401k. I want to keep this a little bit. My videos have been kind of long lately, so I want to keep them a little shorter. So I hope that you've learned something from my financial menu here. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for listening. I hope if you're watching at the time of this posting, I hope you've been having a great holiday and a great new year. And I really do hope the best for all of your resolutions, especially your financial resolutions. Leave a comment below if you've got any questions or want to comment on anything that I said. I'll be happy to explain more, respond to you, answer the questions, anything. Leave a like if you like this video. I would really appreciate it just so I know what kind of style of videos you guys like. And yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.